Hey guys, so today I'm going to be doing a speed build in the new Cottage Living world. I wanted to do a house that was on a farm and I wanted it to be kind of modern, kind of cottage. So this is the house that I've found. I absolutely love it. It's not super cottagey, but I think it's kind of like a modern farmhouse and I don't know, I just really love it. So I'm building this house for a sim that I am already playing with, and I'm posting her gameplay on Twitter if you guys wanted to check that out. But basically I was playing with the Eco Lifestyle pack and then decided that after they got married I wanted them to grow their family on a farm. And I wanted their lot to have that trait where you can only cook if you have the items that you need to cook. I thought it really suited the type of people that they were, and I thought it'd be a fun little challenge. I did speed up the actual building part by like 1,000% because it was super hard to figure out the proportions from Sims to the picture, and I was just trying to figure out how big I actually wanted the house to be. And roofing is also super hard, but that's nothing new. So finally onto the windows. I knew I wanted to use the new Cottage Living windows from the start. I think they're super pretty and I love the shutters on them. And that door from the Cats and Dogs pack, I believe, is one of my favorites. And then I'm messing with the roof again. It was super hard to figure out. In the end, it ended up working out, and it was a simple solution. I just had to make one room bigger. But I played with it for a long time trying to make it look right. And I just absolutely hate doing roofs. I wish we had the auto roof feature that was in The Sims 2, because that was amazing and you never had to struggle with a roof because it just did it itself. So now on to the back of the house. I love the backyard, and I knew I probably wouldn't be able to do that exact look, but I definitely wanted to try for something similar. In the end, you can see that I did not give them a pool right away, but it's just because I wanted my Sims to be able to move in a lot faster. So I also didn't furnish it too much because I figured, hey, they just got married. They probably don't have a lot of money since they just bought this farm. So I figured they can just add furniture and flowers and trees and stuff like that once they have the money. Figuring out the back porch was also kind of difficult, but I ended up figuring something out that I think turned out pretty good. I really wanted to try to use platforms, but they are harder than I thought they would be. Right there you can see is where I fixed the roof. All I had to do was make one room bigger and then it fit perfectly. Now moving on to the inside, I tried to follow their layout as much as I could, but I obviously made some adjustments based off of the size the house ended up being. I also readjusted the windows so that it fit better with the layout. The upstairs layout was the hardest because I wanted this house to have a lot of big rooms. I wanted them to have the room for all of their kids to live with them as long as they needed to, and I wanted all the kids to have their own rooms, but especially with the roofs clipping, it was super hard to figure out the rooms. I ended up turning the downstairs bathrooms into 2 ensuite bathrooms, but the one bathroom does have a door to the living room for guests to use. I really wanted to use the new Cottage Living doors because I love the dark teal color right there, but to me it just didn't look right in this style of house. Maybe if I just do a Cottage Living house, I can definitely put those in because I think they're super cute and I really wanted to use them. To me, it just didn't look like they fit the aesthetic, or they didn't look like they would match the outside with the inside style. Moving on to the kitchen, I loved the Cottage Living counters. So I was using them no matter what, even if I had to change everything to fit with it. I loved it and I was gonna use them. I had to put the new chandelier in there. It fit perfectly and it's just so cute. I think they did a really good job with the cabinets. I'm really picky when it comes to the cabinets in The Sims. For me, they're very hit or miss, but I really like these and I will be using them in a lot of my builds. I love the little curtain on them. I think they're super cute and very cottagey. So we skipped a little bit, but I did end up changing the floor. It took me a couple tries to find a wood I liked. I really wanted to use the Cottage Living wallpaper, but I just couldn't get it to work for me. So I ended up using one that I got in a custom content pack from Tumblr. And then I thought that the bricks from Cottage Living fit pretty well in the kitchen. I love accent walls in kitchens and backsplashes, so I thought that was perfect for it. Now for the living room, I knew I wanted to use a Cottage Living fireplace, and I was even debating whether or not to put a TV on it because my Sims didn't really watch TV, but I didn't know what else to put there, and it just kind of fills in that space a little bit more. I tried to use a lot of things from the Cottage Living pack because I wanted it to be mostly Cottage Living, but obviously there were just some things that didn't really fit how I wanted the house to look. But that fireplace is by far my favorite fireplace, and I will probably be using that in any builds I put a fireplace in. I so badly wanted to use that little granny chair. I did end up using it, but in a different swatch because I felt like the pattern was a bit too much. And there I am changing the floors once again. I also really wanted to use the bed from Cottage Living. I think it's super cute and I love the bed frame, but I ended up changing it to the Eco Lifestyle bed, I believe, because I just couldn't find a wallpaper that matched the bed in the way that I liked. That green with the green bedding was just too matchy for me. I even went through all of my custom content wallpapers, and I think I did end up using the same wallpaper as the one that was in the living room, just in a different color. And then I do end up changing the bed. When I do master bedrooms in my game, I try to do somewhat of a neutral bedroom because in my mind, the husbands wouldn't let their wives have an all pink bedroom. But in this one, I did make it a little bit more pink because I just thought it was super cute. If you guys know who Aspen and Parker are on YouTube, I love their house, and this bedroom actually was a little bit inspired by her style. I think it's super cute, and how I found decor items just ended up working out in a way that it ended up looking like a room that she would design, and I love it. So this room is the office. My Sims aren't really office-y people, but I think every household needs a computer for one reason or another. So I was definitely going to include this. And it's super small. They didn't need anything big because they're usually outside working on their garden. Now, as you can see from the picture, this house did have a garage on the side, and I tried really hard to figure out how to do it. I tried raising the ground, but I couldn't get it quite smooth enough, and then I resorted to platforms, but I very quickly discovered that if you have a foundation on your house, the platforms will not touch the ground because they will also be surrounded by the foundation. I feel like that's pretty obvious, but I played around with it for a really long time, and I even looked it up because I swear there was a way, but I'm pretty sure the only way is to just put the whole house onto platforms and then don't add a foundation. I could be wrong, but I think that's the only way it would be possible. So I just completely scrapped that idea and put a set of steps. Now, what was going to be the garage, since we don't have cars anyway, I decided to just make it like their little work area or their hobby room. My main sim makes floral arrangements, so I added that in there, and her husband does more sculpture making, so I also added that in there. I then moved on to the outside because, like I said before, I didn't want to put too many things into this house because I wanted them to afford it sooner rather than later. I was super excited to play on a farm. So now I am just readjusting the back porch like I mentioned earlier. I like it this way better than how I had it before. I like that it's a nice big porch. I ended up fitting a lot of their planters out there, and I think it looks super cute. Now, if you guys know who James Turner or Sim Supply is, I like how he does his paths and he manages to make them look very natural. I don't know how, but that was an attempt that I made, and I attempt to do it later on, but it's nowhere near what his would look like, but I did try my best. Probably the most exciting part now is I'm still gonna call it a cow house because I don't remember the actual name, and the chicken coops. I wanted them to have their own areas, and then that third area is for their garden because my Sims do have a ton of plants, and especially if they're going to have the Simple Living Lot Challenge, they're gonna need a lot of room. I don't know if this happens to you guys, but sometimes when I am doing a fence and I go to put a gate on it, the fence will disappear where I hover over it with the gate. I don't know how to fix it. I tried going into Manage Worlds. I tried saving the game. The fence is still there. It's completely there when I'm in game. Just when I was building it, for some reason it disappeared. It does that sometimes. It doesn't mess up the actual game in any way. It's just frustrating. I did end up adding a roofed area in their garden for plants that they need more year-round so they could be sheltered. And I didn't really have room for an entire greenhouse, so I just kind of put a roof over it like it was a shed. Here I am attempting the path. I think it turned out pretty alright, but not exactly what I was looking for. And I did like how the animal areas ended up turning out. I thought they looked pretty good. I wanted to add lots of trees. I wanted the lot to feel very natural. And I always try to use trees that match the surrounding world. These are the ones that I found to be closest. That big tree at the end of the path, I did end up changing that out right here for the tree that came with Cottage Living. I love the lanterns on it. It is gorgeous. I also ended up putting fireflies around it. It is so pretty at night. Here's where I decided I wanted to add a lake. I definitely wanted to use this tool since it was new. I was super excited to try it out. I did struggle at first figuring out how the water was going to go in, what shape I wanted to do, how big I wanted it, but in the end I actually really love it, and I think it really fits in with the lot. I was worried that it would look too man-made or that it just wouldn't make sense, but I actually really like how it turned out. I added a log for a turtle and some lily pads for frogs. I even added some geese, dragonflies, and here's where I'm adding all of the fireflies. I put them all over because I just love the idea of their lot being surrounded by them at night. Pretty much anywhere there's a tree, I put fireflies. That's probably a little bit much, but the fireflies aren't super big, so I thought it looked really cool. I love the little gates I did there around the path. I think they turned out really nice. They don't look like too much, but also they kind of guide the path a little bit more. I just added some hedges for now. As my Sims make more money, I'm gonna be adding more flowers and such. So I decided that for the size of the house and the amount of bedrooms, only having like 3 bathrooms, 4 bathrooms didn't really make sense to me. So I added another full bathroom in the workshop. And then right here, I was trying to figure out how to make the upstairs rooms work with the clipping roofs. It was super hard, but I think I managed to make it work. I'm just adding in some final touches now. I was gonna do a washer and dryer, but because they're more eco-friendly, I gave them a clothesline. And that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed the build. This is probably my favorite house I've ever built. I think I'll definitely start using reference pictures when I'm building. I think they turned out super beautiful. And thanks for watching. I will see you guys soon.